People with street smarts, what is your most street tip? If you feel like you are in an unsafe area, keep your head up, look angry, and look like you know where you are going, even when you don't. You are much more likely to be a target if you are looking around or showing signs that you are lost. This is very true. For the angry thing though, it might not be the best idea. Some people might take it the wrong way. Just keep a relaxed and confident face, know what you are doing. If you are talking to a stranger and they start looking around as if checking for witnesses, you gotta leave quickly. If you ever get pulled over at night, immediately turn on all your lights inside your car. In my experience, it tends to relieve whatever tension the officer may have since they can see you a little bit more clearly. Plus, it's better than having a flashlight shined in your face. If you feel like it's a setup, it probably is. If someone is trying to rush you, don't do it. Always have an escape plan. Never have a partner in crime, they will snitch. If someone is trying to rush you, don't do it. Is not only true with real life on the streets action, come over here quick, my friend is hurt, but also all sorts of scams and schemes. If someone's trying to sell you something but they tell you they need you to buy or pay now or lose the offer, or someone trying to convince you that you want something but you have to claim your price now or lose it, or that they need your information now to resolve a dispute, or if someone tells you that you need to fix or replace a part of your car, something on your house, anything like that, and it seems to be done now. If anything like that seems fishy, again talking about phone internet scams mostly here, but also sketchy salesmen or door-to-door scammers, simply ask them if you can talk about it with your spouse, friend, parent, son, neighbor who knows about these sorts of things, and contact them tomorrow. The more that makes them push back about needing it done now, the less you trust them. I met this girl at the bar like 10 years ago and we hit it off chatting for an hour or so. It was getting late, so I told her I was taking off but would be interested in seeing her sometimes. Instead of seeing her sometimes, she decided to come home with me that night. We drove the whole half mile to my apartment downtown and parked on the street. As I go to get out of the car, she doesn't want to get out and is literally stalling while texting someone. I wait for a minute or two and ask if she is texting her mom or friends that she is all right and where she is going. She says no and continues to text. I asked if she is coming up and she is like, yeah, in a few minutes. The whole situation seemed shady. She would not give me any information and kept asking me to wait, to sit with her in the car and wait. I told her she could come up or we could just go out some other night if she didn't feel comfortable coming up right now, and nothing. After a few minutes of this, something told me to just leave and I did. I went upstairs to my apartment, which happened to be overlooking where she parked. I kept my lights off when I went into the apartment and just stared out the window for about 15 minutes until another car pulled up. A guy got out, walked to her door, they chatted for a few seconds and then they both drove away. I'm glad I wasn't shit-faced and noticed that shit seemed off, because it probably was off. Never count your cash in public, even if in singles, and wrap the big bills with a $1 bill. Never yell back at a group of guys verbally harassing you. Just keep walking. Don't make a face. Don't change your walking pace. Keep going as they are not there. Facts. I was stupid and told a group of obnoxious men to go fuck themselves while I was walking in a public place. I was swarmed and surrounded faster than I thought possible. A few cops broke it up, but not until after I had a black eye and a busted lip. Just keep walking and say nothing. In crowded areas, carry bags, purses, and packages in front of you rather than behind you. And put your wallet and other important stuff in a zippered compartment deep inside. Pickpockets only got my makeup bag instead of my wallet when they pickpocketed my purse. The makeup bag served as a decoy. I live in a country with a very high crime rate. If I'm going into a dangerous area, I use a whole handbag as a decoy. Inside is a broken cell phone and a decoy wallet. Everything else is in a thin bag strapped to my waist under my clothing. And yes, about 10 years ago, someone ripped it out of my hands and ran off with the decoy handbag when the train stopped at a station. It wasn't too bad back then, but these days, don't take the train in South Africa unless you want to be mugged. If something feels wrong, it's probably about to be really wrong. Listen to your gut. To second this, when everyone starts leaving, you get your ass out of there. Listen to your gut. You see those people getting out, you should make sure you get out too. Lock your doors as soon as you are in a car. Had a friend who got into this habit. She hopped in her car one day and there was about a 0.5 second difference between the lock activating and a random guy yanking at the passenger side with a knife. Stay safe out there. Most cars unlock the driver door with one button push and all doors with two. Don't hit it more than once if you are alone. Someone can get in the back seat way too easy. Security guards, doormen, food cart operators, and blue collar workers in general are well versed about the location of the nearest restrooms. I like that all these top comments are about how not to get murdered, and then there's just one about finding a toilet. If someone starts acting concerned about your belongings, get out of there soon as possible. For example, if you are walking in a public and someone says, "Hey, go around this way so you don't scarf up them nice shoes." 9 out of 10, they are sizing you up to see if they can con you or outright take it from you under the guise of being concerned for your stuff. If someone starts looking away during a heated conversation and turning their torso away, always glance at their feet and hips instead. People who are about to punch you always angle their lead foot towards you while angling their hips on a bladed slant instead of a square. The upper body lies, but the lower body never does. Say as little as possible. The more you say, the more they are trying to figure out if you are soft or easy to manipulate. By keeping your words to a minimum, you can at least seem like the strong silent type. With that said, they are likely still escalate to physically sizing you up if they can't figure you out through words. For example, shoulder bumps, putting an arm around your shoulder, casually taking something small off your person and asking if they can hold it, etc. At that point, be firm and direct. Don't go along with it. Never stand your ground and fight. Strike first, then run. If it's 1 versus 1, then there's a good chance if you get the upper hand, your opponent will pull a weapon. If it's more than one person, then no amount of training will prepare you to fight multiple pair of hands and legs at once. Anyone who has ever fought will tell you that even 30 seconds of a 1 versus 1 is exhausting. Now imagine 1 versus 5. You won't survive. If you are parking in an unfamiliar neighborhood, always back in. If someone tries to pull up on you, then you can easily peel off. It's harder to get away when you have to back out before throwing it in drive. I cannot emphasize this shit enough. Do not underestimate teenagers. Where I am from, by 14, a lot of kids have already held a gun, and by 17, they have either committed a murder or have witnessed one in the streets. Don't let their baby faces fool you. They are young, reckless, and eager to prove themselves in the streets. Regarding number 6 is the same where I come from. That 14-year-old is a grown man in his neighborhood and will kill you. Very good advice. Thank you. Teenagers have the deadly combo of great strength, a faulty judgment. That that's why they were useful as soldiers, as in infantry. Even in the animal kingdom, juveniles are quite disruptive to the group. Girls and women can be very dangerous too. If you see a woman alone in a desolate highway location, be alert for several male accomplices who may suddenly spring from hiding. A classic trap. I've dealt with that before personally. A girl knocked on my door at about 11:30 at night, asking to use my phone because she is lost. I glanced around the corner and saw a guy hiding beside a plant next to the door outside. I told her to ask someone else for help, and shortly after I caught the dude walking out my driveway on the security camera. I don't trust anyone who claims to be stranded at night, even women. Walk on the road if you are in a real shady neighborhood and it's late at night. Not in traffic, but away from alleyway entrances. I used to have a regular route through a seedy part of a town, and I always figured people walked in the middle of the road there because life was hard and they just didn't give a F. Never occurred to me that it could be a safety thing. Rough neighborhoods also often have poorly maintained sidewalks and or a bunch of junk or litter on them. So walking in the street is often through the path of least resistance. Yep, especially in sketchy suburbs. Middle of the road, you are the farthest distance away from all potential hiding places for people with ill intent. Don't raise your voice with strangers and always be the last to speak. You don't know if these guys are wired properly or not. More casual and less dangerous. Look through people and they will get out of your way. On the sidewalk, the streets, etc., act like you can't be bothered to even acknowledge that other people exist and most people won't bother you, including the crazies and those with bad intentions. If any attractive woman asks for directions, look for her partner behind you or going into your car to take what they can grab. Typical vacation area scam. Walking in Vegas one night, I had not one but two. My car won't restart. Won't you come into this alley and help me fix it? Woman tried to persuade me to help out. Like, nope, kept walking. Wait, like a literal alley? To be honest, I would be offended that she thought I would fall for it. Look with your eyes, not your head. Also walk with intent. Don't look meek or unsure. Even if you have no fucking idea where you are going. Head up, body posture up like you got business someplace. You are less attractive target if it looks like you might fight back. If someone is blatantly violating social norms, such as blasting music on the subway or taking a phone call in a movie theater, keep in mind that if they are willing to violate one social norm, they are probably willing to violate others, including prohibitions on violence. You don't have to be meek in the face of obnoxious people, but you do have to factor in the increased likelihood of violence. If you are in the hood and you see kids playing outside, you are probably safe. If there are a lot of people outside but no kids, be super cautious and walk with a purpose. If it's empty or only teenagers, young adults, get out as soon as possible. If you are in the hood and the children scatter, that's your cue to scatter. They might not completely read the situation, but they know when the energy changes. I lived in South Central for a while. Although And although I never personally experienced anything that bad, this is exactly how I would describe it. The energy can just change at a moment's notice. I remember one day going out for groceries at the store around the corner, and parents were walking with their kids. Ice cream trucks were out, etc. And then when I finished shopping, there was this noticeable shift in energy. Like something just felt darker. Everyone was gone and it just felt eerie. I went home and then, like 20 minutes later, heard a bunch of sirens and found out a dude across the street got shot and died.